Welcome back. Get unpacked and take out your snack. Are you ready to rock? Hello? Are you ready to rock? Roll. Nice. Okay, that's good. That's what I want to hear. Today, we're going to continue, and we're going to be learning about one of our last habitats. We talked about the Arctic, we talked about the ocean, we talked about the forest, but around those forests you're going to find freshwater habitats. These habitats, these freshwater habitats, I say, you say, freshwater habitats. Very good. Now, freshwater habitats, how are they different from the ocean habitats? Well, I know some freshwater, they don't have big waves and sharks. And the ocean has big waves and sharks. So that's a difference. But what else? What else is different about the water? Well, one water is fresh. We drink fresh water from our sinks. And the ocean water is salty. You cannot drink it. You just can't. You can't drink it. You'll get sick. If you go to the beach and you're surfing or you're making a sandcastle or whatever, you can't fill up a cup of water from the ocean and drink it because you'll get sick. It has salt water in it, okay? About the closest we come is gargling with salt water. So fresh water is very, very different. Can you go to a river, a lake, or a pond and fill up a cup of water and drink it? No, I'm not telling you to do that. But what I am telling you is that this water is good water for animals to be around, and they can drink it, okay? It's not recommended that we drink it. We buy water in the store. But, or from our sinks we get it. But a freshwater habitat, there's tons of animals and plants there, okay? If you ever went to a pond or some kind of river or lake, these are the freshwater habitats we're going to talk about today, okay? And if you look really closely at these, you're going to see, sometimes they have, like, it looks like a round leaf on top of the water just sitting there with a flower. Well, these are called lily pads. And a lily pad grows really well in the water. And frogs use these plants to sit on. If me or you, or if you or I sit on the lily pad, we'll just sink to the bottom of the water. But if a small frog hops on it, he's going to stay floating because he doesn't have that much mass, that much weight. So these frogs really enjoy the freshwater habitats, and it's filled with many, many other animals. You might not think of it like this, but in faraway places, there are lots of alligators that like fresh water, okay? If you go to Africa, wild animals like, there's lots of big, strong, powerful wild animals that have that water source or that place where they get the water from, and they keep going back to the water. So you probably don't want to be around there when all those big animals are there. But a freshwater habitat, you're going to see things like a deer drinking from that. You're going to see, a deer is a forest animal, but if I think about freshwater, what I think of is an animal that I would see a fish, a rainbow trout is a type of fish, and it looks like it has a rainbow stripes on the side. That kind of fish cannot swim in the ocean. Seahorses are in fresh water, okay? There are many, many different types of frogs. Frogs love the fresh water, okay? And there's many, many animals that hang around that fresh water. Now, if I take a look back on this ocean puzzle, no whales in freshwater, it's not big enough. And all of these animals need the salt to live. So that's not going to be there. They're not going to be found in there. They're only in the ocean habitat. That's where they get their needs, their food, and a safe place to stay, or their shelter. In a freshwater habitat, you might see things like a beaver. A beaver makes, eats, takes his teeth and chews away. He has two very big teeth, and he chew away at the logs, and the logs go, pew, and they take that log and they keep putting more and more logs, and they use that as a strategy, okay? The strategy is that if they put enough logs and sticks and stuff there, then the water, it's almost like you have, when you have spaghetti, you put it into this strainer with holes in it, and you dump the pot. Mommy or daddy takes the pot of water and spaghetti and dumps it in there carefully, so all the water goes away, and it's just the spaghetti, what you want, okay? But in a freshwater habitat, beavers kind of do the same thing with sticks and logs. They chew the stems, and then they fall, and then they keep throwing the sticks and branches there until they have this big mound, and they call it a dam. A dam stops the different things from coming through. Maybe fish, let's say rainbow trout. Let's say if this river flows, remember rivers are moving water, okay? A pond is like a giant puddle. A lake is like a really, really big pond. It's round and it has land all around it, and it's just like a round body of water. So the beaver, what he does in the river is the fish are coming down the river, and the dam is right here where he has the sticks and the logs, and they swim, and then they kind of get stuck there. And guess who's waiting there for them? He doesn't have a dinner plate and a fork and a knife, but he does see them, and he's a very good swimmer. He's sometimes better, maybe faster than some of these fish. So he can jump in that water and grab some fish dinner, okay? So that's a pretty nice thing. So he's using the freshwater habitat to get food. So that's a perfect animal to be found in that habitat. They're getting food. He's able to get fresh water. And some of these things with the wood, they can almost use for a shelter too. If he could put all these sticks and branches to block the water in a river, he could definitely make a sweet shelter somewhere in the forest. Most of the time, they kind of make those places right near the water. All right, they do live in forests, but for the most part, they travel a lot to these water sources because that's where they're getting their food, okay? Because they're really good swimmers. And they use it to help them because of all the things about them. They use it to help them. So you're going to see a lot of amphibians, because amphibians are a group of animals that are born in the water. And a frog is a perfect example of an amphibian. But amphibians are also things like lizards and things like that. Lizards really like some types of lizards like the wetness in the water. Some like the desert, okay? Like an iguana is a different type of animal. They like the very dry, they couldn't get cold. But if you've ever seen the Geico commercial with that cute little lizard that does the funny commercials, well, he is an amphibian, and he is able to survive in a freshwater habitat, okay? So what about a frog? What is a frog who lives in a freshwater habitat going to eat? What do you think frogs eat? I know a character named Froggy in a storybook called Froggy Has a Sleepover, or Froggy Joins a Band, or any of those Froggy books. Froggy's favorite thing to eat is flies. Now, even though it's a fantasy story, there is a little bit of realistic nonfiction in there, because there is some truth about that. Chameleons, well, I'm not going to talk about them, but frogs like eating flies and like eating insects in real life. And guess what's buzzing around all that fresh water? Lots of bugs. So frogs really enjoy that. I used to see so many frogs when I was a little boy. and me and my friends would see them hopping all around. But frogs absorb or take in the things around them in their skin. So, when people put this special medicine on their grass, it makes the grass grow very green and very strong. It doesn't need that much water. It's called fertilizer. Well, fertilizer is one of the things that they think is kind of harming how many frogs are out there now. Because now I don't see frogs anymore. And they said that because of things people are doing, it's changing how many frogs are around. So just be careful and think about the things you do every day and how it affects other habitats because we want to keep them around for as long as we can. On that note, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, which I believe is Friday. So have a super Thursday, and I'll see you bright and early. Have a great day.